Look closely at our current healthcare landscape. We see college students experiencing extreme cognitive burnout, children struggling to hold their attention, and seniors watching their memories slowly fade to Alzheimer's. The human brain is the most complex organ we possess, which makes treating it incredibly difficult and expensive, called Brahmi. For thousands of years, Ayurvedic medicine has prescribed this exact weed as a clinical tonic for the brain. We now have the tools to look inside the cells and see what this plant actually does. Modern neuroscience is demonstrating that Brahmi triggers very precise biological repair mechanisms inside the human brain. If you walk near a pond or marshland almost anywhere in India, you might spot these small, round, succulent leaves. Its botanical name is Bacopa Monnieri, but it has always been known as Brahmi, a Sanskrit word referring to the knowledge of Brahman, the highest reality. The Atharvaveda deifies this plant. In its 6th kanda, Brahmi is treated as the physical embodiment of Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Young students in the ancient Gurukul educational system were required to memorize thousands of dense Vedic verses with perfect precision. To achieve this, they consumed Brahmi to attain Vaksiddhi, the power of flawless memory and speech. For a long time, researchers viewed these texts as pure mythology. It turns out they were reading early clinical observations. Generations of students consuming specific doses of this plant while undergoing rigorous cognitive training served as a long-term clinical trial for memory enhancement. The Charak Samhita, a foundational medical text, explicitly categorizes Brahmi as the primary herb in the Medhya Gana, a specific group of substances dedicated to promoting intellect. To understand Medhya in the language of modern chemistry, we have to isolate the plant's active compounds, primarily 2 molecules known as Bacoside A and Bacoside B. When bacosides reach a neural synapse, they physically thicken the axons and dendrites. This synaptic plasticity allows neurons to fire and communicate much faster. Furthermore, a 12-week clinical trial showed children with ADHD given standardized Brahmi extract recorded significant improvements in attention and memory scores. Intellect boosting is a physical reality, the measurable strengthening of the brain's internal wiring. The texts go much further than memory. Both the Ashtanga Hridayam and Sushruta Samhita describe Brahmi as the supreme medicine, or paramoshadam, for severe mental illnesses, including mania and epilepsy. To reach the deepest neurological layers, traditional practitioners formulated the plant extract into a medicated ghee called Brahmi Grita, using lipids to shepherd the active compounds across the blood-brain barrier. Once inside the brain, Brahmi modulates neurotransmitters. It balances serotonin and dopamine to stabilize mood and regulates GABA receptors to raise the threshold against seizures. Clinical trials testing Brahmi for anxiety show a calming effect that matches modern pharmaceutical standards, but it provides this relief without the side effects of addiction or sedation. Physicians were using Brahmi to chemically balance the brain's electrical and emotional networks thousands of years before we mapped the human nervous system. Brahmi also holds the title of Rasayana in Ayurvedic medicine, a specific classification of rejuvenative tonic used to promote longevity and halt systemic decline. Here is a visualization of the human hippocampus demonstrating neurogenesis, the brain's ability to sprout brand new nerve cells. Brahmi stimulates nerve growth factor to accelerate this cell birth, while simultaneously dissolving the dark amyloid beta plaques that accumulate and cause Alzheimer's disease. This capacity for physical regrowth provides a biological basis for what the ancients called rejuvenation. It demonstrates that the brain possesses a latent ability to repair its own cellular infrastructure. Integrating this into daily life is remarkably straightforward. Today, Brahmi is utilized as a dry powder, infused into oils for therapeutic head massages, or brewed in traditional drinks. The classical preparation for memory enhancement involves mixing a small dose of Brahmi powder with a spoonful of honey and stirring it into a glass of warm milk to maximize absorption. It offers a wide spectrum of benefits, whether you are trying to help a child focus, improve concentration for an exam, or protect an elderly parent from cognitive decline. Because it actively alters brain chemistry, you should always consult a qualified healthcare practitioner before starting a Brahmi regimen. Ancient Sanskrit texts and modern neuroscience papers might look entirely different on the surface, but they are ultimately two different languages describing the exact same biological miracle.